Hereditary for me is the perfect example, and this goes into one of your questions of whether or not I would recommend the movie. Hereditary is the perfect example of what I would say is a technical narrative, like it's a technical masterpiece, but a narrative nightmare, if that makes any sense. Like the movie on a technical level is flawless. The cinematography is great. The sound design is amazing. The acting is great. Everything on a technical level is fantastic. But the story sucks so much that I can appreciate this over here, but that's not what a good movie makes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if
Talking about that at the end of my review because I've heard people say that about other directors like Zack Snyder. He's a great visual director, but he should not be writing his own scripts.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's what's happening with Ari Aster because his follow-up movies have been on like a steady decline as far as their quality, or at
I
least as far as the reviews go. Like they're getting worse and worse, and they're still visually great movies. But I think other people are starting to see like these scripts aren't that tight, and a lot of this stuff doesn't make that much sense.
again, he's a psychiatrist, so he should be like Mr. Feelings, Mr. like come talk to me, Mr. like let's talk, let's do something or whatever. And he's not. I found out he was a psychiatrist like through the synopsis of the film.
Yeah.
Not and it's like have you ever seen Antichrist?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect example of that, where he starts to where he's still with his wife, but he's so mentally distant from her that it's not his wife anymore, and she only becomes his wife when she starts going insane, and it's like when he has to switch gears. So it's like I would have liked to have seen him treat the family like patients, and like that's his way of like coping with the situation of distancing himself from it, because Peter has his marijuana, and it's like if he would have leaned heavy into that after Charlie died, where it's like every scene you see him and he's like smoking, and it's like he's looking more and more messed up, because that's the that's the corrosive nature of mental illness, seeing something that was once pristine on the decline. um, so it's like now you have a father who's not a father anymore. He's a doctor. You have a mom who's not a mom anymore. She's a patient. You have a son that's slipping into, more and more, what's the word? Who's anesthetizing the pain. So now you have all three of these people who are dealing with trauma in the most unhealthy way possible, rather than sitting down and like discussing it. And then you add the occult element on top of that, where now it's like, now we're literally dealing with not just metaphorical demons, but literal demons. And they're trying to get your son. Well, now you have a mother who's like not overprotective, but just frantic on like, what the hell's going on? How do I protect my children from whatever bad thing happened out there? You have a husband who thinks the mom is being paranoid, who thinks the mom is insane, and it's like, no, look, what happened to Charlie was just an unfortunate accident. It wasn't it wasn't an outlier to some bigger conspiracy. You're losing your mind, and you have a son who's just completely oblivious to the whole thing. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. That sounds like a much more interesting movie than where, hey, my daughter just died, I'm going to the movies. Okay. Rather than Annie talking about her trauma with, I don't know, her husband, she lies to him and goes to a support group. Why does she lie about it? The film gives us no reason behind this.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go see a movie.
Okay.
At the movies.
don't know why she's lying to him, because when she is talking at the group meeting, the first one, she tells them, I used to come to these a few years ago and they helped. Why is she keeping it secret from him now? Wouldn't he support it? The idea?
Exactly. There's no humanity in any of these characters for me to like latch onto and say like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. No, it's like there's nothing there that suggests that she has to hide this from him.
No, and even when she asks him to lock the door to her mom's room.
Sorry, I know it's irrational.
No problem.
Thank you.
And he doesn't care at all. He's totally okay with meeting all of her ways of coping and dealing with her mom's death. So it's not like he tells her, you're fucking crazy. Like,
yeah,
who cares if your mom's door is open and we're not going to lock it and that's weird. She has no reason to hide anything from him.
Yeah,
and
so
establish a reason. Like, it's just... It would have been interesting. It would have been so much more interesting if he wasn't so constantly understanding and passive and supportive.
If it's all just inevitable, then that means that the characters had no hope. They never had hope because they're all just like hopeless. They're all like pawns in this horrible, hopeless machine.
Clear evidence comes in this hidden reveal of her second name, Malpi, which is Latin for siren, the mythical creatures that guise themselves as beautiful women and lord sailors in with their hypnotic song.
The whole idea that she's even part of it comes from the deep dive thing where they notice that her last name is the name of a siren from some Greek myth or whatever. So they think her whole part in the cult, or at least it's being implied that she's supposed to lure him to his death, or be the reason that he is bringing Charlie to her death. But she doesn't try very hard. There's no active seduction happening. She sits on the couch and he has to approach her. He has to ask her to go in the other room. He has to be the one that says like, I'm gonna leave Charlie here. She doesn't tell him like, oh, leave your sister. She doesn't do anything. So even the idea that she's a part of a cult, or part of the cult, or part of the plan does raise more questions.
Okay, I sleepwalk. I mean, I haven't done it in years, but...
Why am I getting so much exposition without getting any sort of payoff to any of that? And the one time we do is when Annie says, I used to sleepwalk. And then in the very next scene, she's sleepwalking. She has never sleptwalked at all during the movie, but once she mentions it in the script, then it happens, and it never happens again. Why? And again, I think Ari Aster was thinking, he was just thinking he was a little too clever for it, because if that's such a thing for that character, then have that be something that we see consistently through the movie so that the next time we see it, it actually has meaning. So when she's sleepwalking and she douses Peter in gasoline, and then we find out it's a dream, or maybe it wasn't, either way, the point of the matter is we find out it's a dream and she really didn't sleepwalk and she really didn't have that conversation with Peter. But why mention it and then do it? It'd be like if you're watching a movie and then the character says, oh yeah, I'm a huge chain smoker. And he's never lit a cigarette through the entire movie. But after that one scene where he says I'm a chain smoker, all of a sudden, every scene afterwards, he has a cigarette in his mouth. Where did this come from? You know?
Yeah, and there's a ton they could have done with it. He had so many good ideas that they didn't use or they didn't flesh out.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I mean, it would make sense. She tells Joan that not only did she douse Peter in paint thinner, but she doused Charlie in paint thinner too. She said that they shared a room. And it's like, make that the reason that Charlie sleeps in the treehouse. Like, establish that she's afraid of her mom or something.
Yeah, something like that would have gone a long way to establishing the connection of this film from being about trauma, about fighting personal demons and then making it a literal demon. than just what we got, which I think was a collection of good ideas handled very poorly.
I'm a medium, okay? I was seeing apparitions earlier and I just shook them off and I shouldn't have.
One of the most hilarious things is when Annie, Toni Collette's character, she's like, I'm a medium now. I can summon, Charlie or whatever. And it's like, did you take a course online or like, you read a couple like magic words and now all of a sudden you're a medium? When the character Joan was telling them that she went to a person, somebody who taught her how to do this. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seemed like that was
conclusion fast.
Yeah, that was way too quick. And now all of a sudden she like has full confidence that she can do this and all of that. And it's like, it would have been better if Joan had come in and done it. That would have utilized that character a little bit more. That would have like showed her like, you're welcoming the cult into your house now. And when stuff goes wrong, it's like, you can kind of, it would have created a little bit more conflict in that scenario. So like, I feel like that was goofy.
It wouldn't have been hard to have Joan go to their house.
Exactly.
She could have just asked Joan to come do the same thing at their house so that she could contact Charlie.
Yeah, and I feel like that would have been much better than Toni Collette just suddenly saying, I'm a medium now, guys. Let's summon Charlie.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just, what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
He doesn't leave the house, he runs upstairs, and then he runs up into the attic. Which is like, you didn't run into your room and close the door and lock it, or you didn't go get your phone, you didn't do anything like that, you ran into the attic? When have you been up there? They never show anything like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like a place that he keeps things, or a place he likes to go. It's all just, this is happening now so that we can have him jump out the window. And in Scream, they make fun of a lot of stuff, like horror movie tropes, like running up the stairs. And that's what Peter does at the end of this movie. And I had that like fresh in my head as I'm watching this. So I'm like, I can't believe he's running up the stairs. But then he trips when he gets to the top of the stairs. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is supposed to be such a different horror movie, and they're doing the same thing as every other horror movie. But then Annie trips at the top of the stairs too. I don't know if you remember that, but when she's chasing him in the attic, she trips. And it's like, what? She was just flying around the house. How is she tripping? I don't get it. And the idea of like flying up the stairs behind him would have been a cool visual. It would have scared him a lot more than running. But yeah, if you watch it again, which I don't blame you if you don't, but she trips. And I don't understand it at all. A few seconds later, she's on the ceiling, banging her head on the door.
That's
tripping.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Mom, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry.
Rather than just like a subtle change in expression, and all of a sudden, like, now all of a sudden Peter has some character in his face. Now all of a sudden, like, he straightens up his back. Now all of a sudden he's like, he's talking very different than how he did before. Kind of like when Peter was looking in the window and he saw that other Peter looking back at him with the smirk on his face, and it's like, that's what I wanted to see. That guy. Where's that guy?
Yeah.
That's Pyman right there. That was him. But we don't get to see that character. Even when Pyman has won at the end of the movie, he's walking around with this glazed expression on his face like he has no clue what's going on. And it would have been better if he came in and he would have been like, yeah, okay. Like he's aware of what's happening now. Like he's in control. Like, no, it ain't Charlie. It ain't Peter. This is Pyman now. And like, I'm here now. And they would have been like, hail Pyman. And he would have been like, something like that. Where
so
it's like
confusing. Because he walks in there and it seems like he doesn't know what's going on. And Joan tells him.
Yeah.
You're we've summoned you, and he has no clue what's going on. And it's like, what? How does he
Yeah.
not know? Hasn't he been around this whole time?
Bring us honor, wealth, and good familiars.
And the demon is for wealth and good familiars. So they want to get rich, and they want to have entities that they can control that will pretty much do their bidding for them, if you're unfamiliar with the term familiars and all that. So basically, the whole cult was a get-rich-quick scheme at the end of the day. It's what it is. All right, so if the Grahams survived this, then you just screwed up a lot of elderly people's occult retirement plan. Great. You didn't stop the apocalypse. You didn't, like, you know, save the world or save the community or save, like, even themselves, really. You stopped a retirement plan. Yay? Question mark?
And the thing about the cult too is it's I wish they would have shown more about the cult's history and more of the things that they have succeeded with, because otherwise you have to believe that this cult has been totally devoted to this idea for like 13 years, and even longer than that if you think it started with Annie's brother, the original Charlie.
Yeah.
So if we go back that far, now the cult has been in this for like 30 years or some shit.
Yeah,
Just
so it's like,
hoping
why
it's
did
going to
that
pay
fail?
off. Eh?
Yeah.
Like, really?
So, yeah. So you like, what was your success rate back in the past? Like, why did that fail? And I would like a little reasoning why, because there's no reason it should have. Again, if you can plan all of this other stuff to happen, there's no reason why you failed in the past.
And so it's not even a get rich quick scheme. It's like get rich when you're in your 60s.
You are sick, Annie. I need to call the police.
You know what bothers me about this movie too is anytime a character becomes interesting, they kill them. Like, up until Charlie dies, she's kind of the most interesting character, just because she's so offbeat, and you're like, what's going on with her? You don't know. And then they kill her, and you're left with Peter and Annie, who are sort of non-characters. Steve gets an email from the cemetery, and it's like photos of the gravesite all dug up and desecrated. Only then does he accuse her of doing it. Like, he finds the body in the attic and he goes, that's why you've been going to the movies. He thinks she's the one that dug up her mother's body, which is interesting. And that's an interesting idea, to have him suspect his wife of being the one doing something. And you're like, that's something I could have done. But instead they just kill him right after that. Like 2 minutes after he comes to that conclusion, they set him on fire and he's gone. And then when Annie starts freaking out and flying around, then she's going to die. You know, she's dead in like 5 minutes. They could have had that stuff happening throughout the movie longer. We don't get any of that. Anytime somebody becomes really interesting as far as what they're thinking or what they're capable of, they just get killed off. And
that was towards the end of the movie, where there was really no movie left, where they kind of had to put a bow on everything instead of like build up with these characters. But it's like, if you could have had Steve grill Annie every time she says, oh, I'm going to the movies. Oh, what'd you see? Oh, yeah, was it any good? How was it? And then the next time she does it, oh, yeah, you know, which theater did you go to? Uh-huh.
Mention.
Yeah, you were only gone for like 30 minutes, so it must have been a short film, you know? Dude, I really appreciate you, man. Like, can't wait to see the rest of your review. I love your delivery. I love how you're going about it. Like, it's funny where it needs to be funny. It's insightful where it needs to be insightful. Like, keep it up, man. I really want to see what you do with this.
I know. I hope you're coming back too, because I definitely need some more content like yours that I watch and appreciate. But yeah, your new way of doing it, I really like the character and the delivery and everything.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm hoping to see more of that. Do you know if you're gonna do anything else like that?
I've been thinking of re-reviewing Sleuth because that's a movie I thought long and hard about, and I really, really like it. So like, I'm gonna go back to like, I'm gonna review that one. I know that, and just like give a few more coherent thoughts on that one. But anyway, I do gotta go.
All right, man.
Yeah, keep it up, bro. Really appreciate you, man.
I'll talk to you soon.
Deuces.